Bitcoin price crashed last night. This is because MicroStrategy didn't get listed on the S&P 500. The S&P 500 do quarterly reviews. Every quarterly review, they add and remove things to rebalance the S&P 500. MicroStrategy was hoping to be included in that bunch, but unfortunately it didn't happen this time, which means there is now a 3-month wait. Now, the natural reaction from the crypto market has been to sell it off and dump it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We have a rate cut coming in about 12 days time. MicroStrategy aside, we actually have a very good week ahead and everything is looking incredibly positive. Now, there's so much news to discuss today. We've got altcoins to discuss today as well. We've got to discuss what's going on with the price of Bitcoin and why I remain bullish and in long positions. So without further ado, if you don't mind, drop a like on the video, leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me whether you're bullish or bearish, because everybody that leaves a comment on a TMG video is entered to win $10,000 when one of my videos hits 1,000 likes. So all you need to do, drop a like, leave a comment, and let's crack on. Starting out, we can see that when the news broke yesterday that MicroStrategy was not going to be included in the S&P 500 at this month's quarterly meeting, the price of Bitcoin dropped from $13,000 to $110,000 in the span of about 40 minutes. Naturally, this triggered everybody, literally everybody. It was like, oh, it's going to go down. It's terrible. The bear market's back and everything's going to go down. It's all terrible. I don't believe that for 1 second. Have some conviction. I've not refreshed this for today. What were the final numbers at close yesterday? Because we don't have long to go until the next Fed meeting. Well, now there's a chance of a 0.5 rate reduction, 11% chance, an 89% chance of a 0.25 rate reduction, meaning that the rate reduction may be even more aggressive than previously thought, and there is only 11 days to go. This is what I talked about in yesterday's video. Don't let it skip your mind that there is currently a 99.6% chance of a rate cut at the end of the month. So whatever happens between now and then, as long as you're not over leveraged, you'll be able to get out of your position and you'll get some good profit on it. Just don't go crazy with the leverage. From my perspective right now, this is a buy the dip moment. Bitcoin dominance is starting to drop again. The US dollar is continually dropping in value. Like, this is not a time that you should be betting against an asset that is basically the antichrist to the dollar. When it comes to Ethereum versus Bitcoin, that started to have an upswing again. It looks kind of like it's starting to form a bottom, but we're going to get onto Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin in a lot more detail in just a few minutes time. Before that, we need to discuss the day's crypto news and finance news. And starting out, of course, Michael Saylor's strategy has missed listing on the S&P 500. This caused MicroStrategy stock to fall by about 2%. Robinhood actually got listed instead of MicroStrategy. This caused Robinhood shares to pump by 7.5%. But from my perspective, this is not a long-term issue, and it's likely going to be included anyway at some point within the next 3 months, probably marking the very top of the bull market. So it's almost good that this didn't happen, because Bitcoin traders are tipping Q4 to be the top of this bull run. However, analyst Plan C says that actually it's not going to be Q4, it's just going to keep going. But either way, we're in agreement that we've not seen the top yet. I don't actually think it'll be Q4 either. I think it'll be Q2 next year. I think there'll be a lot of excitement when the new Fed chair comes in, because the new Fed chair is going to print. He's going to absolutely crush the value of the dollar. And when he crushes the value of the dollar, we're all going to get rich. But unfortunately, it does mean that the poor in society will be getting poorer over the next few years. But if you're an investor in stocks, commodities, anything, you're probably going to have a very nice time, at least for the first couple of months under the new Fed chair. But back to it. This is a funny one. Litecoin has been arguing with Ben Cowan. Now, Ben was on Twitter making fun of Litecoin, something that you should never do because Litecoin is one of the originals. The man's ego maybe has grown a little bit, but he got clapped back at saying your head reminds me of the Great Recession, referencing Mr. Cowan's very unfortunate hairline. And you would think that a man with the means, I mean, maybe he doesn't care, but he can certainly more than afford a hair transplant. However, moving on, NASDAQ has approved Sol Strategies listing for next week. And this, again, why do you think I keep plugging Sol so hard? Why do you think I've been stacking so much Sol? This is going to list. It's going to be a MicroStrategy for Solana, but the first and original one. Since MicroStrategy has been listed on the stock market, the price has gone ballistic and the demand for Bitcoin has gone ballistic. And Solana is yet to have a significant bull market. It's yet to retest its previous all-time highs that were set ages ago now. Also, if you didn't know, I believe that this is actually Tony G's company. This is Tony G, and if you don't know who Tony G TG is a world famous poker player. Tony has been playing poker for years at the highest of stakes and he doesn't lose. So would he be betting on Solana if he thought he was going to lose and going to the bother of getting a company listed on Nasdaq? No, I don't think so. This is one of those situations where you've got to follow the money, and this guy, I think, is onto something. However, yesterday, again, kind of compounding the drop that we saw, payrolls rose 22,000 in August, less than expected in further sign of a hiring slowdown. However, this on the flip side is actually good news because this is what's caused the rate reduction to increase from 0.25 to 0.5%. And I'm telling you now, if it comes in at 0.5%, we're all going to get incredibly rich. The market will just run overnight to some ridiculous number. In Europe, stocks have been declining as investors assess weaker than expected US jobs reports. But for Bitcoin that is stateless, the weak jobs report is actually really good news, pointing towards a more aggressive rate reduction in interest rates in order to encourage more spending by the public, which is one of the reasons why actually Wall Street didn't suffer really yesterday at all. If we look at the stock market and how it performed yesterday, we can see that Microsoft and Nvidia took medium-sized hits, but on the whole, TSM, Google, Tesla, and Oracle all performed pretty strongly, pretty much meaning the stock market didn't move yesterday. Even though Google got hit with a $3.45 billion antitrust EU fine, Trump clapped back saying that you can't do that, it's discriminatory and we're not going to pay it. Google actually had an amazing week. Google leads Monster Week for tech, pushing mega caps to a combined 21 trillion in market cap. Google finished the week up 10% from where it started, despite getting fined 3 point. That's what I mean. We're in a bull market, clearly. If you're getting that kind of big fine, that's a pretty sizable fine, even for Google. You'd expect it to have some kind of negative impact on price, but it just hasn't. Now, this week, the ETFs have been pretty banned, to be fair, especially Ethereum. Just yesterday, $446 million left the Ethereum ETFs. But to me, again, bearish bottoms. You only see big numbers like this when you're close to a bottom. And being that the market outlook isn't really changing, we're still looking to the upside, not the downside. Like, there is just too much bullish news. Broadcom being a rival to Nvidia, China joining big oil in opposition to Trump's biofuel proposal. On the surface seems like bad news, but it's actually good news because it encourages market competition, which reduces prices, reducing inflation. Again, clearly we're in a bull market. Tesla's giving $1 trillion a year now to Elon Musk. I don't even know how they can afford this. So yeah, even though the prices are down right now, we're not worried, and I'm holding on to this for now. Everything to me looks pretty good. The pump trade is absolutely ripping right now. I've been warning you about this trade for so long because I know for sure this is just gonna keep going. I don't think it's near the highs yet, because when you look on a daily chart how it's been performing recently, you can see that it launched, it went down, it got that sell-off, but you've got to remember, Pump.Fun put 100% currently of their daily revenues towards buying the coin. Now, I have a take profit set here at $66,000. I might decide to move that higher, but I did set it in yesterday's video, and I feel like it's not a terrible level to be taking profit at. I feel like there'll be a lot of people looking to take profit around 0.6, so to take profit just before 0.6 probably is a good idea for the trading challenge. And speaking of the trading challenge, how are we getting on? We had another very positive day, to be fair. Sure, it ended on a bit of a rough note. Sure, it's not nice having your account drop a bunch of money in such a short period. I think we reached a high yesterday of approximately $80,000. Right now sitting at $66,000, so we're down about $16,000 overnight, but we're still up $4,600 in the past 24 hours. So still, we have progress. And you can see that progress on this charts here, where we have this nice steady uptrend that's been happening recently, and we have been building some nice profits back into this account. We started with $10,000, we're at $66,000 now, and we're going to $1 million. If you want to join the trading challenge as well, make an account on BLOFIN. You'll find a link in today's video description. And also, if you use BLOFIN, you get automatic fee discount of 25% by using the link in today's video description. But back to the charts here, just before we go on to discuss some altcoins that really need to be brought to your attention because they're going to pop pretty soon. This is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, currently sitting around 110. You can see up here at $114,000 is billions of dollars of liquidations, but you can also see down here at $107,000 there is also billions of dollars of liquidations. We are caught in the middle right now, but I again definitely favor the upside. I feel like a push is coming very soon. When it comes to Ethereum, again caught in the middle. We might push into this zone this weekend just to wipe people out before we hit this zone later down the line. But you can see how bright these levels are getting now. That is creating some serious liquidation levels that ultimately, if this triggers, it will just push the price up to $4,800, and we'll be back at all-time highs before you know it on the price of Ethereum. On Solana, same story, caught in the middle, but we've still got a lot of money to the upside to get liquidated. We have those for Solana been trading a lot more in this range, meaning that that level hasn't built up quite as much as the downside levels here that would happen in the event of long liquidations. These are long liquidation levels, these are short liquidation levels, but I'm still definitely favoring the upside just because of the fundamentals right now looking so strong. From my perspective, it makes no sense to be going short on this right now. So just before we go over to altcoins, I want to give you the levels of which to watch on the price of Bitcoin. So if you haven't already, drop a like on today's video and leave a comment in the comment section below whether you are bullish or bearish on the price of Bitcoin. So yeah, when it comes to discussing the price levels of which you should be watching on the price of Bitcoin right now, we've got to break back above the 0.5 level. That's currently sitting at $111,200. A break of $111,200 will probably yield a retrace back all the way to $113,500. It is a break of that $113,500 level there that we hope will generate a run back up to this level here at $118,000. At $118,000, you're at that peak level of liquidity in the range represented by the VRVP at the side of the screen here. That shows you how much money is in the order book at particular ranges, and if there is a gap in the order book, then you know that the price is going to move very violently between those gaps. Being that this is a daily chart, it shows us a lot of information about that, and I am kind of just expecting to zip back up to that level soon. Like, it's not going to take that much longer. We are so close. The only fear is that we get pressured to the downside just to liquidate the early long positions, which is kind of what's been happening, to be honest. For example, we're looking at the price of Bitcoin here on the 2-hour chart, and currently, if we were looking, okay, what level are longs going to get stopped out at, I view this level down here around $108,000 as the peak level for what Bitcoin could actually achieve before having another aggressive bounce back to the upside. So long as you're not trading on very high leverage, you'll be absolutely fine in this bull market right now because we've got a rate cut coming in 11 days and it's going to be probably more aggressive than what people think. This will have market impact. So long as you don't have crazy leverage, you'll be fine. Just wait for the level to break here at $114,000 and then things are really going to start chugging on. You've got to bear in mind when we're looking at the 2-hour chart here, you can see on the VRVP that we start to lose the peak range of liquidity here at about $110,000 and it doesn't rise again until $118,000. That's when you're going to see the big volume, big money coming through. And it will come. It'll get there. When it comes to Ethereum, we're starting out with Ethereum versus Bitcoin to understand how Ethereum has been acting recently. And currently Ethereum for the past few days has been on a pretty solid downtrend versus Bitcoin. In the past week or so, it's lost about 6% of its value against the value of Bitcoin. However, it's been on such an aggressive charge recently that my expectation is that the ETH whales are currently rotating into Solana. I do actually also believe that Ethereum looks so incredibly bullish right now. We are at peak range of liquidity. You can see that there, peak range of liquidity where the white line is. And if you zoom out on the chart here and you look, that $4,600, we've got a gap basically between this level and that level. And that's why, when I say about these gaps, like I'm not making it up, you can see that we just shoot between these ranges here because within this range, between these two parts here, you don't have any liquidity. You've got a peak range here and a peak range here, which is why you get these massive moves in this range. And that's why it's so easy for these whales to wick you out because you over leverage your trades. And if you're not taking profit as soon as the move has happened, then you probably don't get to keep that profit. We'll just keep doing this until we eventually break to the downside or break to the upside. The downside level of which to watch is approximately $4,260 and the upside level of which you should be watching is approximately $4,500. A break of $4,500, that's just going to yield a run up to about $4,600 and probably beyond, to be honest, at that point because you've really stimulated a bit of an uptrend. My favorite coin right now to be buying is definitely Solana without a shadow of a doubt. We came down, we got the bullish retest off of the outside of the previous trading range, flipping resistance into support, which is really good news because it means that next week we are going back up to $214. And if we get there, we'll get up to $219. The chart for this is pretty clear. You literally just want to have your support and resistance levels spanning outwards. But again, if we lose the level of $200, it'll just rocket to the downside and we'll go back down to 181. That's your only fear right now, which is why if you are trading, you want your liquidation level somewhere down here below $150 so that because of course we're not going down to 150. That would be absolutely crazy at this stage of the bull run. But you need to be able to survive a move like that because that kind of move could be possible, especially when you start looking at the higher time frames here and you're going, well, it's done it before and it did it there and it did it there and it did it there, and so it might do it again. So just be careful is all I'm saying. These are good levels of which to be buying, but you don't want to be buying too aggressively. And of course, nothing in today's video is financial advice. As always, you should do your own research and make sure that you've slapped that like button, subscribe to the channel so maybe you win $10,000. But now it's the time that you might have been waiting for. It's the time to discuss the altcoins, and today we're discussing the altcoins that I pointed out to you in a previous video. And I'm going to point out the reason why I told you that these ones are the ones to buy, because it's proving my theory to be correct. Solana, nice and stable, hasn't reached its all-time high yet, will eventually get there, and when it does, it'll blast straight past it, and it's got no ceiling. SWISSBORG never goes down in price, currently 27 cents. Everything last night dropped. SWISSBORG didn't drop. Strong community, great token model, and the company keeps buying back more tokens. The company took all of their liquidity off exchanges, then put it all onto decentralized exchanges, meaning that they can't be a victim of kind of market manipulation by exchanges that sell into the price, which is why the price doesn't go down when you see a market crash, because actually a lot of these coins only go down because the market makers sell off out of fear, because the market makers don't want to lose money. If you don't have a market maker, you can't lose money. So sure, yeah, it doesn't do the world's biggest volume, but it doesn't need to, because it's got such a huge liquidity pool and it's completely decentralized at this point. The other token that I said is going to keep doing well and continues to do well and never really suffer from any kind of fluctuation in the market is Weeks token. Similar price to what I talked about it, but that's proving the point. It doesn't suffer from the same declines in the market that other altcoins do. You can buy Weeks token on Weeks exchange that you'll find a link in today's video description for. Now, if you use that link in today's video description, then you get VIP2 automatically giving you a 25% trading fee discount, and you get 100% free position airdrop up to 1,000 Ethereum. What does that mean? It means if you deposit $100, they'll give you a $100 position. It means if you deposit $10,000, they'll give you $4,000 position. There's more information available on the link in today's video description. I recommend you check out Weeks, especially because offers like this, literally you can go on there, claim the free bonus, make a trade, leave if you don't like it. But yeah, in summary today, I remain insanely bullish, like so insanely bullish. I really don't think the market is going to have any trouble next week going back up. I think the market's probably going to make potentially a nice little pump this weekend. And overall, everything is looking very strong in terms of its price action. Despite the dip down last night, I don't think it's bad news. I think it creates opportunity that allows us to buy at a price which other people won't buy because they're too scared. Scared money don't make no money. So slap a like on the video, don't be scared, and have a great day. Goodbye.